In other business news, the Philippines became Southeast Asia's fastest growing economy last year, overtaking Vietnam and Malaysia. Three big factors helped the economy top the growth chart, which are consumption, services, and investment.
The Philippines is making serious moves. In 2024, it became Southeast Asia's fastest rising economy, leaving Vietnam and Malaysia behind. And now it's turning heads for something even bigger. For the first time, the country has surpassed Thailand in gross national income, or GNI, claiming the #2 spot in the region. Only Indonesia stands ahead. Fresh data from the World Bank pegs the Philippines' GNI at a striking $518.1 billion, leapfrogging Thailand's $510.2 billion. Vietnam follows with $453.5 billion, then Singapore at $451.2 billion, and Malaysia rounding it off with $414.9 billion. Indonesia, sitting comfortably at the top, holds $1.39 trillion. So what's really powering the Philippines' rapid rise, and why does its GNI stand noticeably taller than its GDP, a rare economic signature among the ASEAN 6? Time to unpack this. First, there's the basic difference. GDP tracks what's produced within the country. It's the local engine. GNI takes that and adds what Filipinos earn abroad, minus what foreign workers make within the Philippines. That's where the magic happens. GNI isn't just about factories or services at home, it's about the earnings of Filipinos around the globe. In 2024, GNI stood $56.5 billion higher than the country's GDP. That gap says a lot, and it points to a global income stream that's playing a huge role in national growth. The big booster? Overseas Filipino Workers. In 2024 alone, Filipinos working abroad sent back a staggering $38.3 billion, a 3% increase from the year before. Those funds make up 8.3% of the nation's GDP and 7.4% of its GNI. That's not a minor boost. It's a powerful financial engine. And here's the kicker. Over $34.5 billion of those remittances went through formal banks. That shows growing trust in the system and an increasingly digital and inclusive financial ecosystem. What we're seeing is a country earning more not just through exports and local businesses, but through its people, spread across continents, sending back lifelines that fuel families, communities, and the economy at large. From nurses in New York to seafarers across Europe and tech professionals in the Gulf, Filipinos are shaping an economy that stretches far beyond national borders. It's a human-powered system of wealth building that could point to a more resilient, future-ready model, where economic strength grows through global connection, not only domestic output. If these patterns continue, the Philippines might not only hold its lead over Thailand, but could someday rival even Indonesia. A lot depends on smart policy. Investing in quality education, digital remittance systems, labor protections, and meaningful reforms. These are levers that could elevate the country's place in the region. What's happening here isn't a fluke. It's a new chapter, and it's being written in every remittance, every paycheck wired home, and every opportunity seized overseas. And it's not just about the dollars, it's about the people sending them. In 2024, 3 countries stood out as the biggest sources of Filipino remittances: the US, Singapore, and Saudi Arabia. Leading the pack, the US by a wide margin. Zoom out, and the Philippines sits among the world's top remittance-receiving countries, ranking 4th globally with $40 billion received, according to the World Bank. Only India, Mexico, and China rank higher. Right behind the Philippines, Pakistan with $33 billion. This isn't only a statistic, it's a global statement. Filipino workers abroad aren't just helping relatives, they're powering national stability. Those transfers of money shape spending, grow businesses, and keep the economy moving forward. Why the surge? A few major forces are in play. Economic recoveries in key regions like North America, the Middle East, and parts of Asia mean better jobs and wages for OFWs. And with more income, more gets sent home. There's also the peso factor. When the Philippine peso dips against the US dollar, each dollar sent home stretches farther. That bonus conversion encourages families to send even more support. That currency edge is expected to keep remittance levels steady and growing.
Still, it's a delicate system. Global slowdowns or conflicts in major host countries could impact job security for OFWs and the steady flow of money back home. For now, experts expect remittances to continue their rise into 2025, so long as the global outlook stays stable. These constant inflows fuel the engine that really drives the Philippines: household spending. Unlike countries that rely on exports or manufacturing, the Philippines draws its strength from services. The numbers are clear. As of early 2025, services make up 62.2% of the country's economy. Industry follows at 29.5%, while agriculture, fishing, and forestry together account for only 8.3%. What stands out? The power of the IT and business process outsourcing sector, and the impact of millions of Filipinos earning abroad. Together, these powerhouse sectors now make up nearly 20% of the Philippines' total GDP. That's not a side note, it's a massive share that shows how deeply the country leans on people-powered service exports over traditional goods. But the real story behind those numbers? It's not just about money moving across borders. It's about how the Philippines is turning its greatest asset, its people, into a global economic force. Millions of Filipinos working overseas aren't simply sending home earnings. They're sending stability, they're sending opportunity, and they're helping to build a future that reaches far beyond any single paycheck. These remittances ripple across families, businesses, and entire communities, fueling momentum that continues to shape the country's rise. In 2025, the country crossed another game-changing milestone. The IT and business process outsourcing industry, often called IT-BPO, has now grown to 2 million employees. It generated $40 billion in revenue this year alone. That means the Philippines now commands a full 10% of the global IT-BPO market, a massive stake in a trillion-dollar industry. But that's just one part of the larger wave lifting the Philippine economy. Another unstoppable engine? The incredible flow of personal remittances. In 2025, the World Bank projects these inflows to hit $40 billion. That cements the Philippines as one of the top remittance destinations on the planet. Behind these numbers are around 11 million Filipinos living and working across the globe. It's one of the largest, most widespread diasporas in the world. Over 10% of the population lives abroad, and they've built thriving communities in places like the United States, Canada, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Japan. These workers and professionals form the backbone of a global income network that keeps millions afloat back home. Paired with the surging IT-BPO sector, this dual engine of growth is setting the stage for a powerful decade ahead. Economists are already forecasting strong gains, driven by innovation at home and a workforce that stays connected to the world. The Philippines isn't playing catch-up anymore. It's starting to lead, building a new kind of economy, one that's both global and grounded. And what comes next? A transformation that touches the daily lives of millions. With per capita GDP rising fast, everyday Filipinos are beginning to see the difference in access to healthcare, in quality education, in higher living standards. The gap between survival and prosperity is narrowing. And that's not an empty promise, it's a major social shift already in motion. At the heart of this momentum, three unstoppable drivers: the global reach of Filipino workers, the booming IT-BPO industry, and a revitalized tourism sector that's bouncing back stronger than ever. Together, they're reshaping the nation's future and delivering inclusive growth that reaches far beyond Metro Manila. But there's more. The United States is deepening its ties with the Philippines through billions in strategic investments. One high-stakes play? Philippine companies operating in the South China Sea's exclusive economic zone are exploring oil and gas with American partners. That could unlock new energy sources and strengthen national energy security. Meanwhile, Washington is expanding its role in the semiconductor and outsourcing sectors, already two of the country's fastest-growing industries. One headline-grabbing initiative involves Seattle-based ultra-safe nuclear corporation, which is working with the Philippines to develop small modular nuclear plants. That could change the entire energy game. With ongoing reforms, strong economic fundamentals, and growing global partnerships, the Philippines is shaping up to be one of Asia's next major investment hubs. The latest World Economic Rankings put the Philippines on track to become the world's 23rd largest economy by 2039. And among Southeast Asian nations, only 3 are projected to make that list. The Philippines is firmly one of them. The road ahead won't be without speed bumps.
Geopolitical risks and the need for internal reform will require strong leadership and smart decisions. But the foundation is solid: a young, ambitious population, a strategic location, and economic sectors that are both future-ready and people-driven. The trajectory is clear. The Philippines is no longer watching from the sidelines. It's stepping into a bigger role on the global stage, attracting capital, creating jobs, and transforming millions of lives. Zone out, and the region tells an even clearer story. 3 countries in Southeast Asia are charging forward: Indonesia at 10th in the global economy, the Philippines at 23rd, and Vietnam at 25th. And while all 3 are climbing, the Philippines is doing it with remarkable consistency, even as global pressures grow. A report tracking nearly 200 economies confirms what many have sensed. This isn't luck, it's strategy. It's driven by the combined force of overseas earnings, domestic demand, and a labor force ready to push boundaries. In the next 15 years, the Philippines is set to leap 10 spots, from 33rd place in 2024 to 23rd by 2039. That will place it ahead of regional competitors like Thailand and Singapore. And by 2033, the country is projected to hit the $1 trillion mark in nominal GDP. At that point, the Philippines won't just be rising. It will be firmly established as one of the world's leading emerging markets. Over the last 20 years, average income per person has soared, from under $1,000 in 2000 to about $3,500 by 2022. By 2030, it's expected to pass $6,000, signaling a rapidly expanding middle class with spending power to match. The key fuel for all of this is private consumption. Urban households, now earning more, are spending on everything from housing to healthcare to tech and travel. That demand is feeding a positive loop: more jobs, more income, more growth. With this kind of momentum, one thing is clear: the Philippines isn't simply growing, it's transforming. The Philippines is climbing, fast. Its rising place in the global economy, expanding middle class, and booming urban centers are painting a clear picture. This is a country stepping into the spotlight. Whether you're an investor, entrepreneur, or someone tracking the pulse of emerging economies, the Philippines is one story you'll want to follow: a vibrant, fast-moving market overflowing with potential. Looking toward 2033, the country is on pace to join an elite club of Asia-Pacific economies with a nominal GDP of $1 trillion or more. That puts it alongside the region's biggest names: China, Japan, India, South Korea, Australia, Taiwan, and Indonesia. This isn't just about hitting another economic milestone. It's proof of how far the Philippines has come and a strong indicator of where it's headed next. Fast forward to 2050, and analysts at Capital Economics in London see something even bigger on the horizon: the Philippines climbing to the 18th spot among the world's largest economies. That would be a historic leap. The forecast? A nominal GDP of $4.86 trillion and a per capita income of around $33,650. From where the country stands today, that's a transformation on a global scale. But that future depends on one crucial piece falling into place. To get there, the Philippines must break through its infrastructure limitations. Bridges, railways, subways, power grids, these are the arteries of future growth. And if the nation gets it right, the payoff could be extraordinary. The momentum is already there, with a focused reform strategy and a growth curve that continues pushing forward even through global uncertainty. Over the next 5 to 10 years, the Philippines is targeting $100 billion in new investments, primarily from global economic giants like the United States and Japan. And these aren't abstract promises. The capital is flowing into critical industries: energy, semiconductors, transportation, and the digital economy, all fueling the next stage of development. Japan, one of the country's most dependable partners, has already committed billions. Two transformative projects, the Metro Manila Subway and the North-South Commuter Railway, carry a combined investment of over $25 billion, and Japan is backing more than 80% of it, a powerful vote of confidence in the Philippines' future. Meanwhile, the U.S. is strengthening its presence, especially in two high-growth sectors, semiconductors and the IT-BPO. These sectors continue to deliver jobs, exports, and innovation, keeping the economy agile and globally connected. And now, geopolitical shifts are adding new urgency. With tensions heating up in the South China Sea, particularly around the contested West Philippine Sea, the Philippines finds itself in a strategic position. U.S. and Japanese companies seeking to diversify away from China are looking to Manila. And that shift could bring a major wave of long-term investment, deeper alliances, and stronger economic resilience.
In every direction, signs are pointing to a new reality. The Philippines is no longer in the shadow of larger markets. It's emerging as a serious contender. With a young, growing population, a prime geographic location, and deepening international ties, the country is preparing for something bigger. If it can close the infrastructure gap and harness the energy of this moment, the next 30 years could see the Philippines become a true powerhouse, shaping not only the future of Southeast Asia, but influencing the trajectory of the entire Asia-Pacific region. This is more than growth, it's a transformation. And the story is still being written.